if I had to call a winner, and like I said, definitely watch the whole entire debate, because she actually has some good points, you know what I'm saying, and she was really challenging Destiny, and Destiny, I think, had the upper hand. I am a little biased, but I am honest at the same time, and he did fumble at that one particular moment, which I wish he didn't, and then it'd be like, a landslide. All right, so let's go ahead and go into our last video of the day. Now this is Destiny, okay? I've been watching Destiny for about maybe a month now. I just found him, which is crazy. I know, I just found him, but he is an amazing debater. Some of the stuff I don't agree with him. Like, he's, more, I don't know, more Democrat than I am progressive. So I think that's probably where we more kind of separate there. But for the most part, I love the way he articulates his arguments. I done watched hours of his debates, and I think it's making me a better conversationalist, if that's a word, conversationalist. I'm literally making up words every week. But he's debating, I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, but she was a former Fox and Friends co-host. So that should already kind of let you know what to expect. And I picked out two kind of segments during this debate. It's an hour-long debate. So this happened maybe, I don't know, a month ago, maybe. I'll check when we hit the video. But if you want to watch the full video, go watch the full video. Okay, I'm going to give my opinion on this take. If you don't like it, get off the channel. That easy. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video.
Policies of the left.
All right, boom, boom. Let me go ahead and find my timestamp, 21 minutes. Like I said, this is a long video. I don't want to sit here and try to, critique every conversation, talking point during this video, because that'll be like a 2-hour video. So 21:34. All right.
Because of some government policy that a bureaucrat is writing.
But you support socialized medicine, right?
Socialized medicine doesn't mandate
so let me go ahead and set this up here. So right now they're going to talk about socialized medicine and essentially Medicare for all type of conversation they're about to have right now. So let's go ahead, ding ding, let's ring the bell, let's see who's gonna win this. That's just such a weird face. I honestly didn't do that on purpose, I promise.
I got it for free, and I can't even justify it.
It's a unique experience, though.
Great, it was a unique experience. I was miserable.
Then you should have done something better with it. But you know what?
It was not practical.
Where are there more miserable people at? Miserable people getting their masters at Columbia's, or miserable people that are doing waitressing in New York City?
You know what? I don't know, actually, because everybody I worked with was happy.
Then here's a question. If we talk about all of the elites in society, okay, the elites that run everything, I know you guys like that one. What do they do with other kids? What do they do with other kids? They're getting them into the best university, the best Ivy League schools. You're going to Stanford.
Why is that?
But these guys...
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Option was like, well, this is what he's saying, this is what his doctor's saying,
Whoops,
and you know what? I'm a parent. I'm going to ultimately make the
like
decision, pull the trigger on that. I don't think anybody else, especially not the government, has the right to stand in between me and my child's future in that decision because of some government policy that a bureaucrat is writing.
But you support socialized medicine, right?
Socialized medicine doesn't mandate you have to get a certain procedure.
So, but if you supported socialized medicine, wouldn't the government essentially have some role in every decision-making process that happened? I mean, it's government
about making
intervention
the availability of some particular...
Oh, that's not how socialized medicine works.
Whoa,
in all countries that have socialized medicine.
Whoa. First off, that is how socialized medicine works. And I had some sort of idea on how it works. And when she said it, she seems so like convincing. That's not how socialized medicine works. So I had to look it up. Actually, like, hold on, let me make sure I'm not the one who's crazy. And you can Google it. You can look up people who actually expert in these areas, and that's what it is. So maybe she doesn't know. I hope she's not just being purposely disingenuous with that answer, but maybe she doesn't know. So, let's see how she handles not knowing something.
there's restrictions on certain procedures and not others, and you have people that have to flee those countries to come
That's
here.
the same thing that happens in the United States with insurance companies. Have you ever tried to do an in-network or out-of-network prescription? Obviously there's going to be some decisions at the end of the day in terms of what is affordable.
You said government,
but it's fundamentally different between what is an affordable drug or what's in-network, out-of-network, or what's an appropriate prescription versus you're not allowed to do this because ideologically Washington has voted a certain way, and now this type of treatment is available to your child. I think those are fundamentally different types of things.
That happens under socialized medicine all the time, where people are told that, you're not entitled to this procedure because we believe that you're old and it's not worth it, and they make decisions about what people can and can't do.
Old and not worth. These are fun. If you have somebody that's 87 years old and they're trying to get a $20 million surgery that might extend their life by a couple months, that's a fundamentally different question than
then the government can come in and say that person's not entitled to that.
If it's not going to be the government, it's going to be an insurance company.
We live
on a planet of limited resources. We don't have infinite resources. There's going to be some. We do have infinite resources.
No. I'm talking about socialized medicine. We're having a different conversation.
Can you acknowledge this happens in private medicine too, right?
Yes.
There's only so many. Okay, so there's only so many resources. Even if it was a libertarian fantasy world where it's an anarcho-capitalist, we all pay for whatever we want. Even in that world, you can only buy so many things, right?
Well, not necessarily, though.
Yes, necessarily. Hold on, we live with limited resources. You said that.
No. Yes, within the system. But if you are somebody who went out and made a shit ton of money, and you have a shit ton of money in your backyard, and you can go to doctors that are not part of the system, you can have access to procedures and treatments that you wouldn't have had. Like, for example, when I had Lyme disease, perfect example, and I went through the system, and what they gave me made me sicker and sicker and sicker. And then I found a holistic doctor that didn't take insurance, where it was expensive, and luckily I had saved my money and had that money in bank and went and feel better now than I ever did before. That is why money is freedom.
Okay, so you think that the best healthcare should only be available to the elites in the world?
No, absolutely
How many people are going to be able to afford to go to another country for
That's
healthcare?
why we had a whole conversation before.
Wait, how many?
Bro, I think she, without doing it on purpose, she literally just defeated her own point. The reason why people need Medicare for all, socialized medicine, is because not everybody has the money to go outside the country to get the surgeries or medicine or whatever needs to happen. They can't even move out of the state. So what makes you think they're going to go to a whole nother country, which costs a lot of money, to get a surgery that's still going to cost a lot of money, and then come back and then act like nothing happened? Normal people don't even have $300 in a bank account for something that will happen outside of life. They don't have $300, and this is across the board here for a lot of people. Like 90% of the people in America, they don't have money saved up like that for an unexpected bill. So what makes you think they're going to fly out of America to get surgery for whatever needs to happen? It's not going to happen. So she literally just proved his point for him. But hey, who am I? Huh? I'm just a YouTube guy. I don't know nothing.
I want to answer this. How many people do you think realistically in a country can fly to another country for a medical treatment?
Not a lot.
Oh, geez, he just
give me a percentage.
Oh, small amount. I don't know.
Like less than 2, probably.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Okay. I don't want a medical system. So you're telling me, well, in your system, there might be rationing because the 88-year-old grandma can't get a hip replacement. And I'm saying, well, in your system, you're telling me that less than 2% of people can afford like life-saving medicine or alternative treatments or therapies?
What I'm saying to you is I don't want to exist in a system where government is making decisions for people's individual health.
Okay, and I don't want to exist in a system where your zip code determines the type of healthcare you can get for your child.
Damn.
That's a crime.
Okay, so you want reform of the health insurance system in the United States, but that's not the answer to that. And I agree because I went in, separate conversation, but I remember when I went in and had a baby, and the hospital bills were extraordinary. I mean, it was insane. I honestly had a regular natural delivery, no C-section, barely any drugs, nothing. And I looked at the bills and I said, what would the average person do in a predicament like this? Because I wasn't the average person that year. I had a television job, and even to pay that was like, it was a dent. It was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So if we're going to have a conversation about reforming the healthcare system, great. We can have that conversation. 100% I'm on board that there are problems in our healthcare system that make basic things very inaccessible to a large number of people, or it traumatizes their entire life to have to pay for them. 100%. But is the answer to that more government involvement in the system? That is extremely dangerous as far as I'm concerned. And if you look at the past 2 years, just as what happened with government, with mandates, with the Biden administration stepping in and wanting to say, you lose your job if you don't get an experimental vaccine, that should have scared the shit out of everybody as far as when you get government involved and they are making decisions for your health. Oftentimes they will make decisions that go against the advice of your own doctor, and your own doctor is done. Can't do anything about it. You either have to choose between whether to put food on the table for your family or to get an experimental drug. I do not want government having that kind of authority and power over anyone's health, because I do have a distrust of government institutions.
Now I don't think Destiny is going to hit on this point, but I understand her example when it comes to her giving birth at a hospital and then seeing those hospital bills. That is, like she said, not devastating to her, but she definitely felt it financially. And like she said, she was, making some pretty good money. And she even admitted she doesn't know how somebody who wasn't making that kind of money could ever pay bills like that. And she agreed that the basic necessities when it comes to healthcare, the basic stuff, we're not talking about giving, free plastic surgery and liposuction to people. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the basic necessities when it comes to healthcare should be available free. Like literally FREE, explanation point. Bam, there you go. Because some people can't even pay that. Can't even pay something small. But when she's talking about the government, she doesn't want big government because the whole vaccination issue. First off, those are two totally different scenarios here. We're talking about the COVID-19 pandemic and, vaccines and this, which is a different conversation. But we're talking about basic health care. The COVID-19 vaccination was not a basic health care, which, it could be, but people were fighting that, but it was free. If people had to pay for it, I guarantee you, it'd be a lot less people taking the vaccine. But when it comes to being scared of the government forcing experimental vaccines and having basic health care for just regular citizens, those are two totally situations and conversations. But she's trying to equate the two to be like, if we accept Medicare for all, they're going to start forcing us to take these vaccines. Like, first off, they kind of already did. And we don't have that kind of Medicare. So you already kind of lost that battle. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand how she kind of lumped those two together. Those are two totally separate situations here.
I work tangential to the tech field. If somebody wants to build a new piece of software or build something for a website, the first question you ask when you go to the table is, has it been done already? Because if it has, then you copy paste it. You never rebuild the wheel. Why would you ever do that? When I look at all of the successful healthcare systems around the world, I look at how everybody does healthcare. Every single country that has a functioning healthcare system does it in this way. Why would I want the United States to do it in this way? It doesn't make
not every country is
sense.
the same. The population's not the same, and not
That's
every.
true.
People
They're
say
all
this about
human
guns
beings.
too, though.
A lot of them are fat in Europe. A lot of them have health issues. A lot of
Let
them
me
are
ask you
different.
this though: do you make the same argument for guns? Because when I talk about guns, people. Piers Morgan, whoever it may be, people will say, well, this doesn't exist in Europe and we should modify. And I say, well, Europe, that's not America. That's not our Constitution. That's not what we were founded on. There are certain principles of freedom in this country. We have a Second Amendment in this country. So can we not acknowledge that it's different? It's different. United States is different.
Guns are different because the Second Amendment is literally built right into
Not to those people making those arguments. They don't care.
I'm not those people. But I wasn't aware of an 11th Amendment that said thou shalt have the right to have private insurance companies be the sole provider of healthcare coverage in the United States, and there shalt not be a socialized medicine. How we deal healthcare is not enshrined in our Constitution of enumerated powers. We have flexibility and options in terms of how we want to do things. But I'm just saying that if every single country does something in this way, this is in my opinion, this is the dumb form of. There are great forms of American exceptionalism. This is the dumb form of American exceptionalism, where it's we're going to do things our own way in the way that is the most complicated, the most expensive. We spend more than any other country of the world on healthcare related stuff. We don't even have good outcomes to show for it. And then when I argue with other people about it, well, the great thing about the United States of America is that the top 1%, the same elites that I rally against all the time, are able to fly to other countries to buy whatever crazy healthcare stuff that they want. And I don't know. I don't think that system is right.
So And we would agree that there's something
Great
deeply
point.
broken about the American medical
Great
system, but we would
point.
probably disagree as to why. So
I don't
increasingly, you have a number of people in this. You have an expanding problem with obesity in this country. You have an expanding
all the Western
problem
world, but yeah.
with what people eat. You have an expanding, and I would argue that big pharma has a financial investment in keeping and making people sick, and that
How
is
do they-
because they don't make money off of healthy people
How do you make people sick as big pharma?
by making them. Because the solution, whenever you have a problem in this country, anytime you have a headache, from when you have a headache to you have a menstrual cramp to you have anything, the solution from big pharma is a drug, and a drug has a side effect, and then that makes you sick. And what big pharma what is
pharma? What does pharma stand
drugs.
for? What are they going to give you? I'm not going to go to Big
That's
Pharma
the
and get a new
problem.
workout
Well,
plan.
that's the
That's
problem.
not a problem. That's
Of
exactly
course
what
it
pharma
is.
exists
No.
for. It's a pharmacy. It
But the
gives me
reason
drugs.
it's a problem is because traditional medical establishment utilizes pharma as the primary means of solving everybody's problems.
That's
and you know what
true.
they don't do? They don't get to the root cause of the problem.
Because the
That's true.
root cause of the problem can't be addressed by pharmacies. But if you go into the hospital and you say, doctor, I've got high blood pressure, I have hypertension, what are you going to do for me? The doctor could say, well, check this out. First of all, your diet is insanely high in sodium.
don't.
You don't exercise at all.
don't say
They
that.
do, but a doctor can't just say that, because what is a patient going to do? In the free, wonderful market of the United States, if you go to a doctor and he tells you over and over again, you're fat as you never sleep, and you are just you're destroying your body with lack of physical activity, you're going to say, okay, well, you. I'm going to go to the doctor down the street and I'm going to get the pill that's going to help my blood
That's
pressure.
true.
As a
They'll
doctor,
do
the
that.
only thing you can do is prescribe a pill. Now, anytime
not
you've
the
been,
only thing you can do.
you can say, hey, try doing diet and oxygen. Talk to any doctor, they will tell you this. Every doctor that I've spoken to will say, I always tell my patients,
you go.
hey, do diet, exercise,
Doctors
whatever. But at
you
the end of the
spoke
day, as a doctor, you
That's
can't
not what's
control
happening.
that.
That's not what's happening.
That
It's
is
just not.
exactly-
No, and I can tell you. Listen, my personal experience, and I know people in the chat. Please raise your hand if you've had
raise
this
your
experience. But I don't know if you've ever had anything chronic that I'm sure
My
everybody's-
child's mom had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay,
So I've had lots
so
of hospital. My
you've been
grandma
through it.
was,
And
yeah, lots
when
of
I
stuff.
had the Lyme disease, it was a nightmare. It was doctor to doctor.
Hold on, did you
weird,
have Lyme disease or did you have chronic Lyme disease?
I had Lyme disease that was a late stage diagnosis. So essentially what happened was I got a late stage diagnosis. I didn't know it was Lyme. I went through a bunch of tests. I did have a rash, so later was able to attribute it to that and had symptoms that progressed until I really got to the root cause.
What is it?
Okay. So then I think at this point they're gonna start getting into a whole bunch of other stuff. But so when it comes to this part of the healthcare, both of them are right. Okay, it's what Destiny. What I'm assuming what he's trying to say is when it comes to big pharma and doctors, the only thing that they really have in their toolbox is to give drugs, is to give prescriptions, this drug, that drug, this medic. That's pretty much all they have in their toolbox. That is surgery. It's like, okay, if a doctor, to be honest, if a doctor was like, hey, just go work out, stop eating what you're eating, work out, take better care of yourself. That's not really a good solution. A lot of people, they need, a actual something in their hands. Give them an actual workout. People need to be given stuff. You can't just be like, hey, take better care of yourself, drink water, stop drinking the soda, like people would rather be lazy and just take a pill or take a surgery for something. If they're too big, they want the liposuction. If they have high blood pressure, they just want a pill. They don't want to start eating healthy. They don't want to do that. So she is right when it comes to big pharma making money off of drugs, because that's the only solution America really has. For anything else, for a workout or a better eating plan, that takes money, which money people don't have. And if they want to do eat healthy, food is expensive already. The unhealthy food and the trash food is expensive. So to eat healthier is even more expensive. Have you ever heard the thing, if you want to shop at Whole Foods, you're going to have to spend your whole check? Like, it's more expensive to eat healthier. To actually get a good workout plan and a diet, to work out and go to a gym costs money. And like I said before, people don't even got that kind of money saved up in a bank. So what makes you think they want to spend that going to a gym? Or spending money on a diet? They don't have that. So what's the next best option? Is a pill. So when it comes to Medicare for all, yes, I do believe people need access to extremely affordable or damn near free or free at that point. But at the same time, people need accountability to their own physical fitness, stuff they can do at home. And when it comes to government, they need to help with that. Hey, you need a gym membership? Free. We'll pay that for you. As long as you're going this many days a week, this many hours a day, we're going to pay for it for free. Here's a trainer. We're going to pay for your trainer so you can get in shape. Do it. I don't care. We got money floating around. We can spend billions to Elon Musk's next business, but we can't spend this to the healthcare of other people here in America. Come on. Come on. Hey, I'm just a YouTube guy. You know what I'm saying? What do I know? I'm just a YouTube guy. Let's go to 3450. Let's see. All right.
He's in chat. They're all
you
out
brought,
there.
you brought
The
he
socialists.
brought the commies in.
My tricoms, my fellow, yes, they're all there. My
all
red
good.
Soviet.
Don't
yes.
worry.
So real quick, $5 super chat. If Destiny believes you can live happily on $60K, will he not donate? Why will he not donate every dime he makes over $60K and move
Give it
back
to me, I'll take
to
it.
Nebraska?
So something that's difficult for people that
hate
have
this
made it is
question.
oftentimes they don't realize that they're the exception. I am the exception in a lot of different ways. I wouldn't recommend my lifestyle or the types of things that I do for other people. But that being said, if you look at me, if people treated money the way that I did, I wouldn't mind everybody trying to be a millionaire. I'm a millionaire, and if you look at the car that I drove here in a $40,000 car. The apartment I live in is it's a $3,500 a month apartment, but it's not a $7,000 a month apartment. That's it. That's all I own. All of the rest of my money goes
Why
into...
do you care what everybody else owns, though? Who cares? Why
The problem that I have is I see people destroy their lives trying to find happiness through materialistic possessions.
So let me
and
ask
they're
you this honest
foregoing
question.
relationships to actually get there.
Fair- okay.
I live a very simple lifestyle. If I could live. If
I do
I
as
lost some
well.
money, I could live at 40, 50, 60K a year.
But,
for sure.
but okay, so let's say somebody said to you, you believe, but the question is, you believe that on, say, 60K, somebody
You could
can
be happy.
Okay, so why don't you give all your money over 60K
Answer the
away?
question.
Just give it all away to charity and live at 60K and be happy.
Answer the
I'm not telling you that
question.
having more money is bad.
Come on. Now this is where I think Destiny fumbled the ball right here. He's doing so good answering these questions. And like I said, this is an hour and some change debate. And throughout it, I think for the most part, and yes, I'm a little biased, but I'm trying to be honest, Destiny did have the upper hand. But right here is where he fumbled at the 1 yard line. Answer the question directly and then rumble off about whatever you want to talk about. So the question was, if you believe in, paying higher taxes and this, well, and you can live off of $65,000 a year, why don't you give all your money from $65,000 and up, give it away? A good response to that would be, you know what? I would, and I could, and I would be okay with that. But me giving, if he makes $100,000 a year, I don't know how much he makes, but that's what, $35,000. What is that $35,000 going to do for the millions of homeless people? What is that $35,000 a year going to do for the millions of people who are living in low poverty communities? What is $35,000 measly dollars going to do for millions of people who are struggling to pay the high gas, to pay the high medical bills? $35,000 is not going to do anything. I want you to take a big old bucket of water, a big ass bucket of water, and get like one of those eye drops and just drop a little drop of water in a big old bucket of water. How is that going to change anything? You might see a little ripple and that's it. You may not even see that. It'd be a bloop. That's all you're going to get. So just taking one person's income and trying to disperse that to millions of people across the world, like that's not going to do anything. Well, not the world, just the US. That's not going to do anything. It might make one or two families happy for a year. That's it. But when it comes to taxing the 2% here in America, that's going to make change. That's going to open up so many more doors to other programs that can help homeless people. It's going to open up more programs and back up more programs to make sure everybody can eat at night, has a roof over their head, good education. Just by taxing the 2% wealthy people here in America. 2%? Poor people are fighting over the 2%. You're a scrub if you're sitting here defending the 2% keeping their money. You're a scrub. That's what it is. You're a scrub, and you just want to hope and pray you could be just like them. That's why you're defending them. So I hate that question when people say, well, if you believe in, taxing and equality, give all your money. Bro, your money's not going to do anything. One person, if Destiny did that, that's not going to help anything. I wish he would have said that, but, he's probably just, comboggled with everything that's going on. So, he fumbled. He fumbled on that one.
If you want to go after more money, that's fine. I like having my more money, but I also enjoy the work that I do to get there. But I don't do it at the sacrifice or the detriment to the rest of my life. If I could make 2x or 3x or 5x the money that I make if I were to do things that I didn't like, if I were to sacrifice my personal relationships, or if I were to grind work even harder, I could, but I don't. But I'm not, earlier I told you, there are some people that want to build businesses. There's some people that have the talent to be an athlete or some sort of business owner or whatever. That's fine, do it. But just because you're not doing that doesn't make you a failure or a loser.
Yeah,
I was happy when I worked my casino job when I worked in Nebraska. I was probably making 36K a year. I think 15 to 20 to an hour.
And somebody else might not feel that way. Everybody's happiness is going to look different.
Throughout all of human history, we've been happy without airplanes, cell phones, and internet. If you think you need all of it now, you're probably the problem because you are a aberration from everything that's come before you.
I understand the message of a holistic life. Like, I get it. I get that, it can't be all work and no play. Family is important. I understand leisure is important. I understand sleep is important. Health is important. Just mind rest, which honestly, I don't know how you're on the computer so much because my mind goes crazy. That's a whole other thing, is getting off of the technology sometimes, getting out into like the real world with light, sunshine, and trees and all that stuff. I get it. But the message should then be positive, like, hey, listen, you can go for whatever makes you happy, but just don't forget all this stuff, because this stuff also can accentuate your life in a big way.
And if that was the message, I'm A-okay with that. Okay. But a lot of the hustle culture stuff seems to be a little bit extreme.
In other words, he's not giving up his money. He's not.
Okay. And I don't know how they kind of switched over to that. I wish there was a moderator, but like, hey, stick to the subject. But to kind of take a piece of what they were trying to, at least I think they were trying to hint, is people who are making, 40, 50,000 a year. A lot of people who are successful or who want to be successful, and they see someone who's working at a King Super's job, a cashier's job, a bartender's job, and they look at them and say, they're not trying hard enough in their life. They need to work 2-3 jobs, and they need to be working 70, 80 hours a week if they want to make it. And to me, that's the dumbest thing you could ever say. The dumbest thing you could ever say. Because one, like they just said, some people don't even want that. Some people don't even want to be millionaires. All they want is to live a nice, peaceful, relaxing life where they're working 40, 50 hours a week and they still have time to do whatever they want. Some people don't like to live at work like you do. They don't want to see their coworkers and their boss 70, 80 hours a week. Some people actually have a life. They want to do things outside of the workplace. So one, that kind of confuses me when people say, oh, you need to just work 2-3 jobs. Like, no. People should be able to live a dignified life, working one job and making enough to live a comfortable life. I'm not saying, a cashier position should pay $35 an hour, but it should be paying more than what it's paying now. And if everybody didn't want these low paying jobs, we wouldn't have cashiers. We wouldn't have the quote unquote essential workers that the government wanted to kind of praise during, a 2-year period. So it just confuses me. I wish people would just be honest and stop, deriding a lot of these millionaires and make sure these millionaires is paying not even their fair share. They need to be paying more because they're billionaires, they're millionaires. They need to be paying more. Bottom line, if you got more, you need to give a little more. That's simple. So that's pretty much the debate. So, I mean, if I had to call a winner, and like I said, definitely watch the whole entire debate because, she actually has some good points. You know what I'm saying? And she was really challenging Destiny, and Destiny, I think, had the upper hand. I am a little biased, but I am honest at the same time. And he did fumble at that one particular moment, which I wish he didn't. Then it'd be like, you know, a landslide win. But there were some few points where he kind of dodged the question, and you can't dodge a question during a debate. So let me know in the comments down below who you think won, and let's have that conversation.